Okay students, so good morning. We are going to see today the effects of public expenditure on economic growth, okay, and development, economic development and growth. So how does the public expenditure affect economic growth and development? That's the question. Now, let us discuss what is this economic growth and development or economic development in advanced countries and economic development in developing economies. Okay. So, economic development refers to the problems of underdeveloped countries and economic growth to those of advanced countries. Okay. So, economic growth is the problem of advanced countries. What you mean the problem means so because of that there will be some problem. Okay, economic development is the problems of the underdeveloped countries. That is Schumpeter and Mrs. Ursula Hicks says that. Now Mr. Hicks points out that the problems of underdeveloped countries are concerned with the development of unused resources, even though the uses are well known, while those of advanced countries are related to the growth, most of their resources being already known and developed. That is why it is said like this. Okay, so underdeveloped countries, most of the resources are unused, even though their resources are well known. But the advanced countries, the problem is related to growth, because most of the resources are already known and developed. However, the problem of underdeveloped countries is to make rapid and accelerated economic development, that is rapid increase in output and income of the community, while the developed nations is that of maintaining economic stability, gradual and steady advancement of income and output. So both the countries are facing different problems, different levels, problem at different levels. Okay, while developed economies consider to maintain their stability and steady advancement of income and output, because their resources are already fully utilized. When it comes to underdeveloped countries, most resources are unused or underutilized. So it should make rapid and accelerated economic development, and so that rapid increase in output and income of the community must be facilitated. Okay. The role of public expenditure for economic development and growth is also mentioned below. So, public expenditure role plays both on economic growth and economic development. So, first one is to increase the volume and level of employment. What should be done? First one is increase the volume and level of employment. The biggest problem which the developed and underdeveloped countries face is a problem of employment and increasing income. Public expenditure programs may directly help to provide employment to many individuals, and thereby increasing these people's demand for goods and services. It may further increase the employment opportunities, as increase in demand for goods will lead to greater production and thus will provide employment to larger members. Then, principles of growth with stability should be followed. Public expenditure program should be devised so as to increase production with increase in demand for the products. So that's about increasing the volume and level of employment. Second one is to encourage investment and production. So private sector may be encouraged for making rapid investment and increasing production if public expenditure is liberally incurred for the provision of social and economic overheads like education, public health, provision of means of transport, communication and power, etc. In short, public expenditure should come forward to provide external economies. So these are positive external economies, providing roads, infrastructure, education, human resource development, good health of the people, etc. Okay, these will provide external economies and should help to provide internal economies of production. So this will increase demand and production and both. Third one is undertake heavy industries. Public expenditure should also come forward to undertake those enterprises which do not attract the private sector, or where private capital is shy to undertake these enterprises, either because of low profit margin or because they require huge capital investment and take a long time to give returns. Thus, all the key and basic industries needed for making rapid economic development such as iron and steel, atomic power, hydroelectric multi-purpose projects, heavy electricals and engineering come under this category. Fourth area is loans, grants, subsidies, tax concession and exemption to stimulate private initiative. Okay, in democratic countries like India, the aim of developmental public expenditure is to stimulate and supplement private initiatives and enterprises rather than eliminate private sector. So, government may provide direct stimulation to private sector by providing loans, grants, subsidies, tax concession and exemptions. Market and other information and research facilities. Tax concessions and exemptions, market and other information and research facilities to the private sector. Okay. The government may set up special banking and financial facilities such as Industrial Development Bank and Financial Corporation to provide finance for medium and long-term loans at low interest rates to provide adequate finance for private sector industries. Then fifth one is infrastructural facilities. Indirect stimulation, that's called direct stimulation. This is called indirect stimulation may be provided by the government. So this is only creating external economies, okay, provided by the government by creating social and economic overheads which are an essential prerequisite for economic growth and development. Okay, which are there? Education and public health come under social overheads. Besides, economic overheads include transport and communication, water and power facilities. So, dear students, when you look at Kerala, you will see whoever be the government, mindful of the different party system, one after another government has taken initiative for providing public health, infrastructure facilities, social overheads like education, okay, medical facilities, etc. to people. So even power facilities, etc., water, etc. to people. That is why the standard of the people, standard of living of the people has increased and is at par with the developed nations. Okay. At the same time, there are also very serious drawbacks because the traditional education facilities which are provided by the missionary institutions, you know, that are spoiled by the bad interference from the part of the government in order to get more votes, their vote policy, because of their vote policy. Okay, so these are things should not have happened. Kerala education is much better. If at all there should be some improvement, it should be for government schools and government colleges. The other schools and colleges are running at par, much at par with the excellence, I can say. But interfering in this education through party politics and other interference is not helping our especially our state, our people. That is why we don't soar high. We could fly high, but we are limited because of this kind of unhealthy interference But of course, government does. For example, in the medical field, government does a lot of good things. Then you must also understand the private hospitals also are doing a very good job, especially the missionary hospitals. Nowadays, there is also self-financing institutions booming up, and which is also taking away a huge chunk of money from the public in the name of treatment. And people are ready to spend on that also. So there are various issues are there, but whatever be it is, government expenditure must be to help bring about betterment of the society as a whole, to bring about maximum social advantage. And which are those areas that will have a positive effect on the economy, on the people, which are those areas which have negative effect on the economy, etc. We have already seen. So based on that, I want you to come up with a beautiful write-up, a critical evaluation of the government budgetary policies, especially with regard to the present budget. So have a critical evaluation of the expenditure policy of the government. That should be your assignment. Okay, my assignment which I am going to give you is that. For steady and balanced growth of the country, basic economic objectives and priorities between the various projects are to be determined. There are differences of opinion on the question which sector on the economy should be given priority in development. Some want agrarian sector and exports, while others want priority for secondary and tertiary sectors. A third view is in favor of equal emphasis for all the sectors in the interest of the balanced growth. However, it is important to note that the success of public expenditure policies lies in the fact that their cost of administration should be kept at the minimum level. Okay students, so I wind up here. So we have finished discussion on the effects of public expenditure on economic growth and development. Okay.